You just wrote a check for $150,000. The bank held it, smiled, handed you keys. 30 years from now, that one decision, what you did with that specific stack of cash, will swing your net worth by more than $2 million. And nobody walked you through the math before you signed. The story you've been told is simple. Rent is throwing money away. Buy a house, build equity, retire on the appreciation. Most of the country believes some version of this, so when you scrape together a down payment, you don't think of it as a decision. You think of it as the price of being a responsible adult, but that down payment isn't a purchase. It is the single largest investment most people will ever make. $150,000 in capital deployed into one specific compounding vehicle for the next 3 decades. And there's another vehicle sitting right next to it that almost nobody compares it to. Here are the two vehicles, side by side. No tricks. Real long-run averages. The first one, the S&P 500. Over the last 30 years, it has returned about 10.1% a year on average. Dividends reinvested. Not a forecast. The actual number through 3 crashes and a pandemic. The second one, the American single-family home. Over the same 30 years, the home prices have risen about 3.8% a year, on average, nationally. Census data. Federal Reserve. Not the post-2020 surge. The full window average. Now run the same $150,000 through each vehicle? 30 years? The S&P version. $150,000 compounding at 10.1% for 30 years lands at roughly $2.67 million. The house version. $150,000 down on a $750,000 LEA home. The whole house compounding at 3.8%. Lands at roughly $2.3 million when you sell. And that assumes you also paid down the mortgage in full, before any closing costs. That's the gap on paper. $370,000 in favor of the stock market. But that's not the real spread, because the house version comes with 30 years of mortgage interest at 6.36%, which, on a $600,000 loan, is roughly $740,000 paid to the bank. Plus property tax, plus insurance, plus the maintenance bill, which nationally now averages $15,979 a year. In LA, north of 20 grand. Add all that up. Ownership runs you something like $5,600 a month, all in. Renting the same kind of place runs around $4,200. The difference, the quiet $1,400 every month you didn't see, is what owners hand over to a building and renters could be sending to the S&P. If a renter actually invested that $1,400 a month for 30 years, at the same 10.1%, that's another $3 million. So the real picture looks like this. Path A, own the house, ends with a $2.3 million home and nothing liquid. Path B, invest the down payment, rent the same kind of place, invest the monthly spread, ends with $2.67 million plus another $3 million in the market. Almost $5.7 million versus $2.3 million. A spread of roughly $3.3 million on the same starting choice. The same $150,000. That's not bad luck. That's the difference between two compounding vehicles running at very different speeds. Now, the honest part, real life isn't a spreadsheet. So here's what actually happens. The disciplined scenario. You rent a place you can comfortably afford. You wire the $150,000 into an index fund the first week. Every month, you set up an automatic transfer for the spread, $1,400, into the same account. You never touch it. 30 years later, that pile is the $5.7 million. This version exists. It is rare. The middle scenario. You rent, you invest the $150,000, but the monthly spread, you don't invest it. You absorb it. Bigger apartment, better trips, kids' activities. By year 30, the original $150,000 has done its work. About $2.67 million. You still beat the house by roughly $370,000, and you spent 30 years not owning a roof. the most likely scenario for most people, you buy the house. Because the rent and invest version requires a kind of discipline almost nobody has. The mortgage forces you to save. Every month, a chunk of that payment becomes equity. You cannot easily spend it, so the house wins not because the vehicle is faster. It wins because the vehicle has a lock on it. That is the part nobody says out loud. It's not that real estate is a better investment. It is that a mortgage is a better commitment device. So what does this actually mean sitting where you are tonight? The down payment is the most important capital decision of your adult life, and almost no one treats it like one. You will spend more time researching a $2,000 used car than the $150,000 you wired into housing grade returns. The trap is the framing. We call a down payment a purchase, so we do not think of it as an investment. We call paying rent throwing money away, so we do not notice the $1,400 a month silently leaving an owner's account every month for taxes, repairs, and insurance. Here is the part that matters. You are not behind. You weren't given the math. The cultural script collapsed two completely different decisions. Where do I live and how do I deploy my largest pile of capital? Into a single question with a single right answer. They are not the same question. And right now, with rates at 6.36% and maintenance costs hitting record highs, the math has never been more lopsided against treating them as the same question. This isn't anti-house. Buy the house if you want the house. Buy it for the kids' school. Buy it because the backyard matters. Buy it because the lease churn is exhausting. Just don't buy it thinking it's your best investment. Buy it knowing it is your safest one. One thing, tonight, pull up your bank account or your retirement statement, whichever has the bigger number, and find the largest chunk of cash sitting there. The down payment fund, the home equity line, whatever it is. Ask yourself one question. If that money were liquid in your hand right now, would you wire it into a total market index fund tomorrow morning? If the answer is no, you don't actually believe the house is your best investment. You believe it is your safest bet. Those are not the same thing. Pick one, knowingly. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more simple explanations.